It's been a while since I made a video showcasing one of my favorite US listed funds, so I decided to do a 2-for-1 special in this video. Most of my viewers are Canadian and just like me, primarily invest in the Canadian stock market, the TSX, right? But ignoring the biggest, most iconic, and in my opinion, best stock market in the world is a colossal mistake for any investor, including us Canadians. Many Canadians ignore the US stock market completely because of that 15% withholding tax you need to pay on the income from US listed funds if you hold them in a TFSA or a non-registered cash account. But don't forget guys, there is no 15% withholding tax on any income coming from US listed funds or stocks if you hold them in your RRSP account. This is why our RRSP accounts only now have US listed funds to really take advantage of this rare gift we have, thanks to a tax treaty between Canada and the US, which applies only to retirement accounts. That's why it applies to RRSPs and LIRAs, but not the TFSA or regular cash account. So the two funds I want to review in this video with you today are the RiverNorth Opportunities Fund. The stock symbol is RIV. This fund is managed by RiverNorth. And the second fund is the RiverNorth / Double Line Strategic Opportunity Fund, managed by two fund managers, RiverNorth and Double Line. And that fund's stock symbol is OPP. So both funds are listed on the US stock market, on the New York Stock Exchange to be exact. I absolutely love both of these funds. They hold assets that are much harder to reach and get exposure to on the Canadian stock market. They both target a fantastic dividend yield of 12.5% annually. They have monthly distributions and they both prioritize income as their main source of total return. Music to my ears as an income-focused investor. So let's check out these funds together right now. All right, guys, let's start with RiverNorth Opportunities Fund. I'm on their website on the homepage, which is always the best place to check when you're doing research, guys. It's on the fund's official website. So here's the website right here. I'll put all that in the YouTube description. So you have here the net asset value of the fund, 17.18 a share. The current market price as of the 2nd of November, 17.28. So it's pretty much neck and neck. There's not really a big premium or discount here, as the NAV is really close to the market price. The fund is, I would say, small to medium size. It's 225 million here. So looking at the summary here, so this is a closed-end fund designed to opportunistically invest in closed-end funds and exchange-traded fund ETFs, which basically they're trying to give us attractive monthly current income and the potential for capital appreciation. So whenever the current income, which is, the income is before capital appreciation, that's how you know this is an income focused fund. So you have access to a diversified portfolio of closed-end funds and ETFs representing a wide array of underlying asset classes, potential to benefit from unique alpha opportunities in the closed-end fund market, and of course they do use some leverage to capitalize right on the returns and on market dislocations. So if you click on the fund right here, you will go to this page, which basically gives you an overview of what this fund has. So the investment strategy, the fund employs a tactical asset allocation strategy primarily comprised of both closed-end funds and ETFs, and they implement an opportunistic investment strategy designed to capitalize on the inefficiencies in the closed-end fund space. So basically what this very complicated language is telling us is they hunt down other closed-end funds. So this is a closed-end fund that holds other closed-end funds and ETFs that are basically trading at a discount to NAV or have good value. That's basically what they're saying. And if we scroll down, you could see their performance, the annual performance here, which is over 10% a year annually, which is really good. And here's the asset allocation. So we could basically see what this fund holds, guys. So there's 28% fixed income here, Equity, which is stocks, is 22%, and a big chunk in SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies, very popular in the States. They're basically investment companies that are bypassing the IPO process to bring companies public. So they kind of merge with other companies to fast track companies to the public market. So really, really cool here. Very hard to get, right? In the Canadian stock market, this stuff doesn't exist. And there's a bunch of other little stuff here. So you have the investment vehicle allocation. So closed-end funds, it makes the biggest chunk of this fund. So you have 56% of this fund is literally other closed-end funds, a big chunk in SPACs as well, and some other stuff, of course, like investment company bonds, which is corporate bonds, cash, BDCs, etc. You have the complete breakdown here if you want to, if you're a nerd and you want to really break everything down completely, but the details are here. Now, if you go to resources, you have access to the fact sheet. So whenever I do research on a fund, guys, I always focus on the fact sheet. It's basically a summary of all the best information you need about the fund. So here's the fact sheet. Of course, fund objective, like we saw that already, the asset allocation. Keep in mind, this is as of September 30th. So you have all the information here, which we already saw. But one thing I want to bring your attention to is the dividend policy, which is clearly stated in the fact sheet. So like it says here, effective January 1st, 2019, the fund began an amended level distribution policy where the fund intends to make monthly distributions at a consistent and fixed, but not guaranteed. Of course, they got to put that in there. You see a lot of this kind of, but not guaranteed type of stuff in the US fact sheets, because I guess they get sued for nothing over there, right? So they have to put it. Rate that is reset annually to a rate equal to 12.5% of the fund's average NAV per share, as reported on the final 5 trading days of the prior calendar year. So what does that mean? Well, basically the 2021 annual dividend will be 12.5% of the fund's NAV, or what the fund's NAV is in the last 5 trading days of the previous year, or 2020. So the same thing will happen in 2022. So in 2022, the fund's annual dividend will be 12.5% of whatever the fund's NAV is, or the average NAV of the 5 days, the last 5 trading days of 2021. So if we check out the fund real quick here, let me just refresh. All right, 347. So as you could see, the current annual dividend is $2.04. So this today's stock price of $17.29, it translates to a nice yield of 11.8. But if we go back to the fund's website and actually look at the NAV now, it's 17.18. So it's going to reset pretty much in 2 months, guys, because the year is ending in 2 months. So how do we know what the approximate annual dividend will be for 2022? Well, you just take 17.18, and what's 12.5%? So here it is, 2.1475. So if we look at the current dividend of $2.04 and compare it to the 12.5% of today's NAV of 2.14, if the NAV stays pretty much the same, guys, this means that the dividend will be jumping in 2022 from 204 to approximately $2.14. And this makes complete sense. This is why it's lower than 12.5, because the stock price, or the NAV, went above this year's 12.5%. So I hope that makes sense to you. But basically, the good news is that this fund's dividend, if it stays the same in the next 2 months, is set. The annual dividend is set to increase next year. So that's basically RiverNorth, guys. I strongly suggest you go on their website. There's all kinds of more documents. You could actually, if you go to resources, you could actually check out the third quarter holdings. So every single thing that's in this fund, you actually have the name of all the funds in here, the names of all the SPACs. So if you want to go check that out as well. And if you click on videos, they also have 2 interviews with the fund, with some of the fund managers of this fund, where they actually explain what RIV does, but I pretty much went over it. So there you go. That's RIV, guys. Let's check out OPP now. All right, guys, here is OPP, the RiverNorth / Double Line Strategic Opportunity Fund. I'm on the main website here. You could see once again the NAV price and the market price. So this fund is trading at a small premium right now, which means the market price is a little bit higher than the NAV price, 2.51%. higher to be exact. It's a little bit bigger. It's 282 million compared to 225 from RiverNorth. And if you scroll down, you'll have all the information you need. I think this graphic pretty much explains it all. So you have the biggest portion of this fund, so 65% and 90% of this fund is managed by DoubleLine, who are fixed income experts. So you could see here that they seek to generate risk-adjusted returns through investments in fixed income securities and primarily agency and non-agency residential mortgage-backed securities. So basically mortgage REITs, right? Mortgage-backed securities. And they seek to derive value from the inefficiencies within the subsectors of the fixed income market. So kind of like the same thing RiverNorth does on their side, right? And speaking of RiverNorth, so the smaller percentage of this fund, 10 to 35%, is managed by RiverNorth Tactical Closed-End Fund Income. So pretty much this is kind of like the RIV fund, right? It does exactly, they're doing exactly what the RIV fund does, and I'm assuming that there's going to be some overlap between this section of the pie here to RIV. So as we already checked out on the checking out RIV, they seek to derive value from the discount and premium spreads associated with closed-end funds. So I wish they would have just said this instead of that colorful and complicated language. But basically, what I was saying was right. They hunt down closed-end funds that are that have big spreads between that they're trading at discounts. So they invest in closed-end funds, BDCs, and ETFs. So here's the outline of the fund, guys. If you scroll down, you will see all the information that you need. So right now it's 77% DoubleLine and 23% RiverNorth, right? So this is basically just a principle in terms of allocation, but so 10 to 35 between 65 and 90. So the exact split right now is 77-23. So you have the credit quality here, the breakdown. This is the breakdown of the fund, guys, in terms of sector. So like it said, it's primarily MBS. You have non-agency MBS, agency MBS, bank loans as well, which is good for inflation, CMBS. So if you just combine all the MBS, the mortgage-backed securities, it's 50% of the fund or more. And you have other stuff like US government bonds, and of course the other stuff that the RiverNorth manages, like SPACs, BDCs, etc., etc. So if we open the fact sheet here, where is it? Right here. You could open the fact sheet and you will basically get the investment strategy, which we've already said, we've already checked out, right? So I'm not going to go through that again here, but you could see the top 5 holdings, the top 5 sectors, but the other page was a little bit more detailed. What I do like about the fact sheet is they actually specify that the leverage is 25%. So very modest leverage. That's typically what fund managers use. They use between 20 and 30% leverage. For RiverNorth, we don't have the exact leverage amount, but I'm assuming it's about 20-25% as well. In terms of the dividend policy, guys, it's a bit harder to see here, but it's basically the exact same dividend policy or distribution policy of RiverNorth. It's reset every year and it's 12.5% of the NAV. So if we check out how the fund is doing right now, today on November 3rd, the market just closed, so it's at 15.25, so it went up a little bit today. So the current yield is 12.52%, and the current annual dividend is $1.90. So if you want to estimate how much the dividend is going to be in 2022, all we have to do is take the NAV here, 1472, apply 12.5%, and it's $1.84. So this one, the dividend is actually set to decrease by 6 cents if the NAV stays the same in the next 2 months, right? Because it's resetting in 2 months. So a little tiny drop, not the end of the world, guys. So let's say it does go to 1.84. Well, how much will your yield be if you buy this fund now in 2022 approximately? Well, 1.84 divided by 15.25, which is today's stock price, times 100 will give you your yield. So you're still looking at over 12%, guys. Nothing to scoff at, that's for sure. So there you have it, guys. Two very unique US listed funds that both target a 12.5% annual yield. Absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love the concept behind RIV or RIV. The fact that they invest primarily in a bunch of other closed-end funds and ETFs which have great value is absolutely genius. These guys basically hunt down the good value funds by comparing the NAV prices to the market prices, and they try to capitalize on the funds that are trading at discounts. So this is something that I try to do myself, or I look at myself when I'm trying to decide what to invest in next every single month. It's one of the three factors I look at, and I explained it in detail in my my most recent video, or a recent video called "What Should I Invest in Next?" So make sure to check that video out if you haven't seen it, because in that video I go over the three factors that really help me decide what to invest in next. RIV also invests in SPACs like we just saw, which is great for us Canadians because we don't have exotic exposure like that on the Canadian stock market. And slap on some modest leverage on both these two funds overall, and voila, you got really nice diversified fund with high yield and monthly distributions. OPP, very interesting as well. It's much heavier on the fixed income, of course, especially MBS or the mortgage-backed securities, which that type of investment is not doing that great nowadays, but because most of the fund is, like we saw, the percentages is managed by DoubleLine, so that's their specialty, right? Fixed income. But I love the fact that they also allocate 22% of the fund to RiverNorth for them to manage, and that portion basically does the same thing that RIV does. So it's pretty safe to assume that there's some overlap between RIV and OPP. OPP having more fixed income, RIV really focused more on the closed-end funds, and they have the SPACs, right, as well. So I think these funds are really great, guys, to really buy and hold long term for, you know, American investors or anybody who invests outside of North America, who invests on the US stock market, but also for us Canadians to put in our RRSP or Lira accounts, as there's no 15% withholding tax on the income there. Personally, we have about $25,000 US dollars worth of RIV and $20,000 of OPP, and they give us a steady source of high monthly passive income. We absolutely love these funds. Don't forget that if the NAV of RIV, like we saw, stays the same for the next 2 months, the annual dividend is actually set to increase significantly starting in 2022. So that's a bonus. And yes, it looks like OPP will have to reduce their dividend a little bit, but regardless, the yield will still be very high because they both target 12.5% annually, right? It's just reset based on the NAV. Also, I know many of you are not buy and hold income focused investors yet, or you're slowly transitioning into this investment style. So I know what a lot of you are going to say. What about the stock price? What about the stock chart? It seems like they are on a downward trend. They don't go up much in the long term, etc., etc. Guys, these are funds designed for income, not growth. This is the passive income channel, passive income investing channel, not the passive growth investing channel. So my response to that would be, would you be happy with a 12.5% annual return? Well, most of you watching would say, of course, that would be amazing, right? Well, buy and hold these funds forever, and that's pretty much what you'll get, guys. With the, will the annual dividend fluctuate? Yes, but I have no doubt that the income will consistently be pretty high. Remember, if you just intend to buy and hold it forever, like me, to really collect the sweet monthly income, which is what income investing is all about, why would you care about the share price? Because you're not going to be selling it anyway. So these types of funds with high income typically don't move much in terms of share price, and that's really the point, guys. The return comes from the income. They're giving out as much as they can in income, so it's only normal that the share price won't move that much. Think of things like QYLD as well, right? So many investors are obsessed with stock price chart, but they forget that they're getting a 12.5% in income alone, right, every year. So if you have further concerns on this, I strongly suggest you watch my video called Why I Don't Care About Stock Prices. Hopefully that will convince you. And if it doesn't, that's completely fine, guys. You don't have to invest in these funds. Luckily for us, it's a free country. So that's it, guys. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I would really appreciate it. It helps the fund. It helps the channel grow. And of course, make sure you're subscribed if you like this type of content, because my channel is all about the income focused style. So I talk a lot about funds that have high yield. So make sure you're subscribed not to miss out on my future content. Of course, don't forget to check out our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could access my digital product, the Ultimate DIY Investing Package version 3. So this product is basically a companion or a reference tool to help you build your own portfolio, whether you invest on the Canadian stock market or on the American stock market. It has huge lists of ETFs, closed-end funds, and of course, everyone's favorite part about this package is the sample portfolios. There are 14 sample portfolios in total, 7 for the Canadian stock market, 7 for the US stock market, all tailored to different investing needs. Whether you're an income investor like me, a dividend investor, a growth investor, I have sample portfolios for everyone. So make sure to pick up that product as it comes with lifetime updates. You only need to buy it once to get the further versions, or the future versions rather, which will come out later on. Also, I do offer a one-on-one consultation service right there on my website as well, right on the homepage, where I do basically a one-on-one Zoom meeting with you guys. You could ask me all the questions you want. I could look at your portfolio. I could help you build a new portfolio, transition to an income-focused portfolio, which is what I do. Whatever your needs are, I do my best to help everyone. I love doing these consultations. Unfortunately, they keep selling out, or the appointments keep getting filled really quickly. So I'm completely full for November. So I'll let you guys know either via Facebook or a community post when the December appointments will open up. Speaking of Facebook, please join our Facebook group. We've passed 5,000 members. We keep getting new members all the time. It's a really cool group. There's no spam there. We take it out like that. And it's all designed really to conversate and help each other talk about funds and get each other's opinions on your portfolio and different new funds, like questions, etc., etc. Really cool. So make sure you join our group there on Facebook if you use Facebook. Also, we're on Instagram, so follow us there if you use that social media. Follow us on Instagram as well, so you don't miss out on any of our content, any of our updates. So of course, the mission of this channel, my mission, is always the same, guys. It's to help everyday normal working people invest on their own so they could build their own stream of passive income to enhance their quality of life and reach financial freedom, reach financial independence as quickly as possible. So with that, take care, guys. Continue to stay safe, of course, and see you next time.